Um, Hello and welcome to my Pet Future. My name is Ben and I'm going to be showing you how we're going to be doing our FMP and what it's based on and what my initial response to it was and what I can do with the future of the FMP.
I took that. Ben, there is a timer on yours, right?
I think so. I put it on, it worked in the bathroom. But anyway, so we got a brief and the theme of it was London then and now. And the brief was just to make either a game or animation, and other than that it was kind of up to our own interpretation of it. And then the way I was looking at it was if I could do London either progressing from then to now, it's like a game through time, or if I do set it from a certain time period. And at first, I was looking more now, but then I thought it'd be more interesting to do something based on the past, which is where I kind of got all my ideas from when it comes to the time of the game. So one of my first ideas was to do something to do with the idea of like Brexit or politics, just because it's such a current thing that's going on now. And also I was thinking of something I could do that's more comedic effect, so like, you know, something that kind of mocks the whole idea of it, because it's something that obviously is a bit weird going on at the moment. But at the time I thought it was going to be something good, but then when I was thinking of later down the line it'd be hard to put a real storyline to something because it's not really developed as much. For my second idea, I was thinking of doing like kind of how those like roadmen have kind of progressed through time. So like you got the original gangsters, you know, who were out with machine guns going down, you know, doing drive-bys to just a guy who has a knife and goes around shooting people for fun, because why not? And I kind of was thinking of that idea because, as I said, I wanted to do London then to now. But I was going to show how it kind of progressed through time and how the everything's changed with it. But then I kind of scrapped that as well because I thought it'd be a lot harder to kind of portray how it's changed throughout the time. We did 2 research trips, and they would help us get primary research and to help us further ideas. The first trip we went to was the Museum of London, and one thing that intrigued me was the weaponry, because obviously I was at the time thinking of doing like the Roman kind of idea, and I was thinking of going back in time to show how weapons have evolved, and like obviously you got things like the knives and swords there, which were at the time they were seen as good, but if you look now, you know, it was rusty, they would break easily and things like that, like the shields and the helmets and things, how they changed. The second trip we did was a trip around multiple places around London, so from somewhere like Piccadilly Circus to Spitalfields Market, and it kind of shows how, although London's just one place, it's so diverse within it. Like if you go to Piccadilly Circus, you've got big LED boards that are for advertising, you've got big shops everywhere, and it's so crowded. Whereas you go to somewhere like Spitalfields Market, there's a lot more culture there, whereas you can see the streets are more narrow and it's not as populated with big expensive things around the place. We did contextual analysis, and one of the things I was looking at in the games, so we have the Zombie U and the Getaway, and one thing I was looking at was emergency services, because I was still going on the whole road run idea. So I was thinking, obviously with a game about, you know, people getting stabbed and shot, you're going to need police, you need ambulance. So I was looking at how they're portrayed in other games, so I could actually represent them in a game if I was going to use them in it. Then the other things I was looking at was if I was going to, because if I also had I was seeing if I could do another idea just in case the roadman one fell through. So I was looking at places around London, so we have Gran Turismo and we have Call of Duty here, and I was seeing how they represent London. So although some of them, like a game like Call of Duty, although it has the landmarks, it kind of exaggerates a lot of the things, like it has a lot of phone boxes, and basically it just uses it to show that it is London, just in case, you know, you didn't know by the London eye that's there. One of the inspirations I got, because then I started thinking about games that I played in the past, and I started thinking about something like Minecraft 2. It's such a big game with so many different things within it. And I was looking at a thing called Silverfish in it, which are like, because I started thinking about things like the Black Plague, which was one of like a thing that we brainstormed. And I thought about, instead of using rats, I use something that's more unique, but it's still a rat, but it's just the way it acts and moves looks different. So I got this idea. Another idea I had was the Slenderman game, because I like the idea of having a flashlight on the player and it being kind of mysterious and dark, and kind of is to the point where when you know, like when you see this thing that's coming towards you, it's almost too late, and it kind of creates fear within the player. One of the art styles I was looking at was this kind of thing, which was like this Instagram famous artist, and because of at the moment I think my art is probably the weakest point of everything I'm doing. So I didn't want to do it something too complex. So at the moment I was looking at like a simple kind of thing, and then seeing if I could adapt it over time within my game, especially with the cutscenes and the different characters. This is just a rough mock-up I did of the Plague Doctor, because as I said, I kind of went more towards the Black Plague kind of side, and I was thinking of kind of like the Slenderman kind of look of a tall, dark character with the bloodshot eyes, something that could kind of create fear within the player. So I had two main ideas for the actual gameplay of the game. So one of them was a monotone, simple kind of game where it's just you're traversing forward within the game, and the things are coming towards you, and you're going to be playing as a rat, and then there's people there you've got to infect, but at the same time there can be the Plague Doctors coming that obviously their job is to exterminate you and try and get rid of you. The second idea I had was more of a gravity runner kind of game, but instead of it actually being gravity, it was going to be more side to side, so like you'd have to go through and like avoid different obstacles coming your way and see how that went. And the one I was looking more towards was the monochrome game, just because I like this simplistic look, because obviously it's set in an older time period, so it would have been more things a little more basic, then I think I can represent that easier. This is an idea I had just for the main menu. I'm planning on changing it to like try and draw the main picture myself and add a few more things to it, but I just kind of like it's so simple, which is why I was looking at the monochrome game, because it's just a black and white, but then it still gets across the whole thing. And the idea I had for the name was just Rat Race. It's still a mock-up name, but just the alliteration with it, and it kind of shows what's in the game. I did some independent research on target audience, and I found that the minimum age it could be was 7, because of some people may be frightened by things like rats and like plague and things like that, so that would have to make it 7. But if I was to include things like blood and like death and things, it would have to go up to a 12 age rating, which is what I was thinking of making my game, because the target audience would be somewhere from 13 to 16. Some tutorials that I was going to be looking at to help me with my game was Udemy, which is where the online courses were to help with how to use Construct, and YouTube, because I found that on YouTube there's a lot of different creators of like, even for like a main menu, there's so many different ways you can adapt it and change it, and like with the fade, so I was looking at a lot of different tutorials on that and seeing how I could change it. Some software that I'm going to be using is Animate for like a walk cycle, and like one of the things I was looking at is how to obviously do a walk cycle for something like a rat, because obviously that's a bit harder than a human, and obviously Photoshop for mocking up the character designs, the background design and things like that, and obviously with Animate I want to add cutscenes as well, because it's going to be harder to tell a story of a rat with just the game, so I want to add like small cutscenes in between to kind of show how it's changing within the game. The software that I'm going to be using to create the game is Construct 2. It's something that we've done in our prior units, because we've done 7 prior units to this, and we made a game before this and we used Construct 2, so because I like the coding aspect of it, and that's what I did more of in the game, so I've used this and I got the basic knowledge of it, so I think if I can adapt my knowledge and advance it, I can create something that I can be impressed by. So from the past work, obviously this was the first animation, or one of the first animations we did, and as you can see the artwork is pretty poor, like the houses are questionable at the say the least. So obviously that's one of the things I want to adapt on more, is just changing the art style and being able to make it look like what I'm actually trying to portray, instead of just doing something that takes 2 minutes and then working more on the coding instead of just the whole work. My expectations, obviously I want to get either a distinction or something like that on that lines, So the way I'm going to be doing that is recording all my progress and the change I make in Blogger, which because we already have been doing this throughout the year, and I think obviously that's going to be how we're going to show how it started just a concept idea to how we progressed into making the game further and further, and that's my idea.